Chinese people love orchids for a long time. There are tens of thousands of people named Lan Lan, Bai alone. Plum, orchid, bamboo, and chrysanthemum are known as the four gentlemen among flowers. The beauty of orchids is unique. People praise its noble and elegant character. However, regardless of the special meaning given by man, look at things only from the perspective of nature. Orchids are not the emperor. On the contrary, he is an insidious and cunning villain to spread pollen and reproduce. They use all kinds of cunning tricks. Allure of food and sex alone. All kinds of insects are willing to become tools. Even Darwin was amazed. Hello everyone. Welcome to our channel. Let's get to know each other in this episode. Orchid's secret weapon. There are at least 25,000 species of orchids in the world. They vary in size and color. There are exquisite and small musk orchids. There is also a huge queen gulan. There are red door orchids that can be seen everywhere. There is also the extremely rare yellow wolfberry. As we all know, the flowers of common plants. The petals are arranged in an orderly manner and the size is single. And for orchids, each of their petals are different. Presents a variety of unique shapes. Botanical studies have shown. This is because orchids have a unique genetic code. And their genetic code is hidden in the pollen. Orchids have such a large family. Thanks to their high pollination efficiency. Pollination requires a medium. Insects are the best choice. Apparently insects don't do their jobs in vain. Orchids must give them something. Like fragrant sweet nectar. It is an irresistible food temptation for insects. Appalachian Mountains in the eastern United States. Covered with lush forest. Growing under the forest's verdant canopy. Some beautiful orchids. This is a fenugreek. Like a graceful shaojiabiu. This is a few yellow wolfberry. Their tongue flaps have evolved into a spherical shape. The middle is a hollow structure. There is a secret hole in the top. This bee is attracted by its bright colors. Inadvertently fell into the flower ball. Once it falls in, it cannot return the same way. Orchid is not like pitcher plant. Ready to eat and digest it. The bees have been tossing in it for a long time. Finally found the only escape route. That is the secret hole, reserved by Huang Lan. Very narrow hole. Blooms under a pollen-covered receptacle. Bees struggle to be free. As it squeezes out of the hole, you're bound to get pollen on your body. Even just encountered a catastrophe. Bees still can't resist the temptation of Huang Lan. Soon, it repeated the same mistakes with another yellow orchid. The pollen that just stuck is ground on the pistil of this flower. The bees have been busy for a long time, but they haven't eaten a single bite. And the pollination of Huang Lan has already been accomplished. For insects, nutrient-rich nectar. Equivalent to high-calorie aviation fuel. Compared with Huang Lan's sound. This small pair of yellen is extremely generous. Its nectar is so abundant, that it gathers into a river. This gives the insects a chance to feast on. This wasp is drinking nectar in a dream. As it sucks along the river, all the way to the top. Will naturally penetrate into the stamen. Two yellow pollen clusters. Stuck firmly to its forehead. When it flies to another japonica. Cross-pollination of different plants. Wasps are efficient pollinators. And some workers just eat and don't work. This beetle eats a lot and is strong. Look at its hind legs, it's like a gym trainer. Its forehead is soon covered with pollen. Effect eating, he will not hesitate. Pull pollen balls off by brute force. In contrast, flies appear to be more thieves. This fly sucked too much nectar. My stomach is too full. It spits out nectar and hangs it on its mouth. Evaporate the water in it and carry out concentrated extraction. Then suck it back in again. And the whole process of eating. It will try to avoid getting any pollen. Another orchid can't produce nectar. To successfully attract pollinators, it learned to paint cakes to satisfy hunger for insects. Rubidium angustifolia shares the same forest with Rubidium grandis. They grow right near Darwin's house. Darwin was very familiar with both types of orchids. After careful observation, he found that the lips of the Phalaenopsis have yellow folds. Insects love to eat the pollen on it. C. angustifolia imitates close relatives of the same genus. Its yellow patches are larger and more conspicuous. But there is nothing on it. Its fake pollen tricks insects over, just trying to use them to pollinate themselves. All kinds of orchids go to great lengths for cross-pollination. If same plant pollination, difficult to produce healthy seeds. This truth applies equally to all living things, including humans. Inbreeding can easily lead to genetic defects in offspring. Darwin recognized this problem early on. He studies orchids not just for fun, also has a great relationship with his family. He married his first cousin, Emma. As a result, the 2 children born were unfortunately born. He was ashamed of it. I've been trying to figure it out. Are consanguineous marriages the cause of tragedy? Near Darwin's former residence, No. Town's house, there is a large field of flowers that he called the treasure house of orchids. This provides convenient conditions for his research. He is well aware that orchids need the assistance of insects to pollinate them. That spring, he did a simple experiment. He covered a red door orchid with a glass cover. Isolate it from any contact with insects. This orchid is still able to enjoy the light and absorb nutrients. But as the months pass, the surrounding orchids are producing fruit pods. It is the only one that has become a commander with bare rods, and cannot bear a single fruit pod. In 1859, Darwin published On the Origin of Species. In his treatise, he elaborated on the theory of species evolution, and called this process natural selection. So many kinds of creatures. Can natural selection explain this phenomenon? Darwin made careful observation and research on orchids, provided the basis for his theory of natural selection. He once wrote that during my observation of orchids, there's nothing like endless flower configurations. Fascinated me even more. Orchids successfully cross-pollinate. Genetic diversity. Orchids have thus evolved petals of various shapes. Especially the accessory petals and labial petals of orchids has evolved so many amazing shapes and patterns. Unlike other herbal plants, each orchid has only one chance to pollinate, so they need to be cherished. The footsteps of early summer are approaching, and the flowers are blooming. Every insect faces dizzying choices. Countless flowers, all trying to attract pollinators. So, how do orchids get their pollen? How about accurate transmission to orchids of the same species? The lavender orchid just invented a clever way. Behind each flower is a very long thin tube. This orchid secretes nectar only to the end of the flower tube. We can even see through thin tube walls. See the nectar stored inside. Not everyone can eat this delicious meal, unless you have a slender mouth part. Like this red butterfly. It moves its long mouth parts effortlessly, inserted into the end of the flower tube. Once it finishes sucking and pulls out its mouth part, the yellow pollen will stick firmly to its mouth parts. It is difficult for other insects to compete with it. It also prefers this exclusive delicacy. Therefore, it has a greater probability. Fly to another orchid of the same species to feed. The efficiency and accuracy of pollination are also greatly improved. Darwin gradually understood how orchids adapt to insects. He experimented with a special orchid and proved his theory. He came from as far away as Madagascar. Get an orchid called comet orchid. This orchid also has slender flower tubes, but its flower tube is 30 centimeters long. What kind of insect? Can it suck nectar at the end and assist in pollination? Darwin made a bold guess. There must be a moth in Madagascar. Its mouth parts perfectly match the flower tubes of comet orchids. Years until his death, a species of long-billed hawk moth is finally discovered. Its mouth parts are unbelievably long. A few years ago, entomologist Phil finally unveiled its mystery. Phil found a comet orchid in the jungle of Madagascar. He set up an infrared camera and waited day and night. Until late one night, a mysterious visitor flew here. It's the hawk moth. Like a night elf, it hovered in front of the orchid. Protruded unique mouthparts. Inserted a unique flower tube. This wondrous sight has been captured by humans for the first time. The symbiotic relationship between the two is so close. No one can survive and reproduce without anyone else. Darwin's conjecture was confirmed after 143 years. In addition to food temptation, some orchids turn to sexual temptation as a winning weapon. Tropical rainforests in the Americas. Swarm of orchids. Scrambling to a particular orchid. They are all male orchids. We're not here to eat nectar, but to collect the oil secreted by orchids. After they scrape off the grease, stored in pouches on the hind legs, the oil will be converted into a special chemical substance inside. This chemical is like a fragrant perfume. The female orchid is powerless against this. Drones also gain the right to mate. Orchids are like matchmakers, contributing to the proliferation of this species. And the orchid bees will reciprocate. Carries precious pollen clumps to other orchids. And some orchids are outright love liars. Not only do they not secrete nectar, they don't even have perfume. For example, bee orchids are cunningly imitated into the appearance of female bees. Under the warm sun in early spring, the drones are flying their mouths in the air. They spend the winter in their underground dens. Drones break out of the ground earlier than bees. Right now, they are eagerly looking for a mate. Even monkeys anxiously want to create female bees out of the soil. When the first female bees emerge from the ground, the drones will swarm up and hug each other. Of course, only one drone made it in the end. If you want to seize the opportunity, you must be fast. Can't even see the object. Bee orchid also had an opportunity. It also secretes a scent similar to the female bee. The drones can no longer take care of so much. As long as the taste is right, they pounce on orchids to mate. In the end, I found out that I had been deceived. And the pollination of orchids is complete. When the orchid is finally pollinated, will produce thousands of seeds. These seeds are as small as dust, blown and scattered in the wind. Because they are so small, cannot even provide nutrients for the growth of seedlings. In order to take root, they must use more deception. From a micro level, the forest floor is formed by a large number of hyphae connected into a network. Mycelium lurks underground, busily decomposing and digesting the material scattered on the surface. The hyphae attach to the roots of the tree and provide them with nutrients. Trees produce sugar through photosynthesis to feed back these huge numbers of fungi. A forest is a complete ecosystem, and the orchid seeds are like parasites. Mycelium penetrates the seed and wants to break it down. But the seeds contain fungicides, can effectively prevent the decomposition of fungi. In this way, the orchid seeds get nutrients from mycelium. Meet your growth needs. The bird's nest orchid is a typical representative. Even if it grows out of the ground, it has no leaves. It only produces light-colored flowers every summer. All the nutrients it needs come from fungi. Most orchids are closely related to fungi. They have to rely on a specific kind of fungus to germinate and grow. This also makes it difficult for orchids to be cultivated artificially. Many orchids are endangered worldwide, thus successfully breeding them already imminent. Royal Botanic Gardens in London, England. This conservation project is underway. The key points and difficulties of this work. For different orchid seeds, cultivate suitable fungi. After some rare orchids were successfully bred, will be transplanted to inaccessible protected areas. Help them restore their populations in the wild. In the swamp forest of Florida, an extremely rare ghost orchid grows. It has no leaves, only roots that are as green as a vine. It uses its roots to photosynthesize to absorb nutrients. when the abundant summer rains fill the swamps. It is in the dense forest, in the dappled sunlight. The most beautiful and delicate flowers bloomed. There are only about 2,000 of them in the entire reserve. Even so, there will still be flower thieves who are obsessed with profit. Steal them. Human beings are greedy and never restrained. Not only led to the extinction of a large number of animals. Even the plants won't let go. To protect nature is to protect human beings. When will stupid people wake up? Darwin concluded his On the Origin of Species by saying, "Sitting in contemplation in a treasury of plants where warblers fly and grass grows. It's a very interesting thing. Surrounded by various plants. Birds singing on the bushes. Insects flitting past. It is truly a magnificent sight in the grand view of life. May he have such a beautiful vision. Will not be buried in the hands of future generations."